Sir William Dean, who was the Governor-General, opened this international flag display that I'm standing amongst on the southern edge of Lake Burley Griffin. So back in 1999, Sir William Dean, who was the Governor-General, opened this international flag display that I'm standing amongst on the southern edge of Lake Burley Griffin. Each flag represents a country that has either a High Commission or an embassy in Canberra. Each flag represents a relationship between a foreign country and Australia. We have representation in their country, they have representation in ours. So to honour those relationships, we put a flag up for each of those countries, and along this international flag display we have around about 113, 114 flags out of the 200 or so countries in the world that could be represented in Australia. There are two flags that are in addition to the country flags, which represent organisations that are not countries but nevertheless have some sort of quasi-ambassadorial representation in Canberra. And those two organisations are the EU and the United Nations. They have quasi-embassies here in Canberra. And a question that's often asked of me when people tour around the embassies in Canberra is, what's the difference between an embassy on one hand and a High Commission on the other? Well, each of them are identical except in name. If it's a country that's a Commonwealth country, we call it a High Commission. So the British High Commission, the Canadian High Commission, the Singaporean High Commission, all Commonwealth countries. If it's not a Commonwealth country, we call it an embassy. So it's the Chinese embassy, the American embassy. And the same happens overseas. If you're going to our Australian representation in London, you'll be going to the Australian High Commission in London, not the embassy. So the names change, but the actual roles of these organisations are the same. They are where countries have a relationship with another country and each then can discuss matters of mutual interest. I'm standing beside the Papua New Guinea flag, and this flag actually is one of my favourites because it's got a bird on it. And I'm often asked how many flags of the world have birds on them. Well, there's over a dozen. Lots of countries have an eagle on their flag or other birds, but probably the best representation of a species on any national flag is this one from Papua New Guinea, which of course has the bird of paradise prominently displayed on the flag. I hope you've enjoyed this clip, and look, Canberra Guided Tours runs fantastic trips all around the Canberra district. If you've liked what you've seen, we do stories about people, we do stories about places, we do stories about fascinating buildings. So please come to Canberra. When you're here, check out Canberra Guided Tours, and we'd love to see you along on one of our trips one day. Thank you.